Okay. All right. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to yet another episode of the TalkTrack. We do this every Sunday at Plot 8B, Gabula Road, the Barrow House, aka the unofficial home of the Kara Junkies. What's up, Rowena? The TalkTrack is an independent production of the Kara Junkies. It's produced, edited, sound mixed, and shot by Morris, aka Moro Moro, aka Mukono Moja, aka Unilateral DJ. Yeah. Man will host a whole event with one hand. You people, you think disability is inability. Morris has proven you wrong. And as per usual, I'm the host for the evening. My name is Roy. You can call me the Alchemist. You can call me Kamada. You can call me the unofficial father of the Kara bike. You can call me the last Kara junkie. You can also call me Ochawa Giramanyu, Nofachi Neviensi. Really, whatever you feel like, I will take all the names that you give me because I am a very, very accommodating and receptive person. Just don't take it for granted. We don't own any of the rights to the music you're going to be hearing playing in the background. Also, all opinions presented by the participants of the TalkTrack do not represent the opinions of any of the affiliations of the TalkTrack, that is the Barrow House or the Kara Junkies. These are opinions presented by people's lived experiences and perceptions. And, if you want any feedback, just please leave a comment on our YouTube channel at TalkTrack UG, and we can be able to assist you with anything. But really, just, feedback is good for us. So, yeah. Okay, so today we're going to be exploring something quite deep. So I hope you guys have brought your thinking cups. Our topic today is going to revolve around aspects of we're going to explore aspects of morality. We're going to explore aspects of power. We're going to explore aspects of accountability and explore aspects of social consequences. But before we go there, I hope you all had a lovely week. A lot has happened. A lot has happened this week. But the quote that caught my eye and has been going around on Twitter is the quote that has been going around on Twitter, the quote that caught my eye, and I think the quote that caught also a lot of people's eyes was, we are all struggling so hard and planning so hard for a future that we might not be a part of. That we're all struggling and planning so hard for a future that we might not be a part of. And for those of you that watch soccer, but even if you don't watch soccer, I think this made a lot of news this week. Diogo Jota. Diogo Jota was a Liverpool player, 28 years old. He was a forward, very, very prolific guy. Jota, I think, passed on at the start of this week, right? The thing that hit a lot of people is, one, Jota passed on 10 days after getting married, and he left behind 3 kids. Jota passed on with his brother in the car. They were the only 2 kids that their parents had. So in a split second, a mother and father lost all their children. A family lost their breadwinner. And this is just 10 days after this young man had gotten married. He was only 28 years old. He had a very prolific season with Liverpool last season, where they won the Premier League. And, it just gets you thinking, one, how much do we appreciate the time that we have? And, how much do we utilize the time that we have when we have it? But 2, not that we shouldn't plan for our futures, but I think live more in the moment. The tweet was, we are all planning so hard for futures that we might not even be a part of. And that's not to say we shouldn't plan, but, take some time off to enjoy the moment, So rest in peace to Diogo Jota. It also shows how much we create connections with these people even when we don't see them. You watch Jota on the screen every week. It hurts. Of course, it's going to hurt when he passes on. So, rest in peace to the young man. And I know rivalries aside, I'm a Manchester United fan. That's a Liverpool player. Rivalries aside, I will come back to hating Liverpool next week. For this week, I'm still okay. I will go back to hating Liverpool next week. Another thing that made the headlines this week, oh my God, the diddler. The Diddler, Sean Diddy Combs, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Bad Boy for Life. For those of you that have been paying attention or been following up Diddy's case, Diddy has been part of so many controversies from even the start of his musical career. The whole Tupac and Notorious B.I.G. deaths, all of those, somehow Diddy's name always comes up, right? And there's been a few shootings here and there that, evidence that came out during his arraignments where they said Diddy wasn't. So Diddy is no stranger to controversy. But you remember the baby oil scandal? Yeah, when they finally raided his house and, discovered 1,000 bottles of baby oil and all that stuff. So Diddy was finally charged with a few crimes. He was charged with racketeering, which in United States law is, for example, if I got you guys to commit crimes for me, that is racketeering. I don't have to do it. I just have to use my loyal subjects, so to speak. I'm not going to call you guys minions. You guys are. So he was charged with that for using his entourage and all that to commit crimes. That was one charge. He was charged with sex trafficking. Actually, he had 2 counts of sex trafficking. And he had 2 counts of transportation for purposes of prostitution. Then he had 1 count of sex trafficking, and he actually had 2 counts of sex trafficking. One was sex trafficking by force, and one was just plain sex trafficking. So this all goes on. You remember the trial was widely publicized. There was a lot of witnesses that came forward. One would say there was a lot of evidence to arraign this bad boy for life on charges. Diddy was looking at life in prison without ever coming out, right? Cue the start of this week. We find out that the trial is coming to an end. The jury sat and they came out and they found Diddy not guilty on 3 of the most serious accounts. That means all the accounts that would have landed Diddy in jail for life, he was acquitted on all 3. The remaining 2 counts, that was transportation across state lines for purposes of prostitution, and I think also, it was transportation across state lines for purposes of prostitution. 2 counts of those. Both of those, I think, carry a maximum of 10 years in prison. I don't think Diddy is going to prison, in my opinion. I don't. Okay? I don't. He would have gone to prison if he had gotten racketeering or the rest of that, but I don't think he's going to prison. And it got me thinking, let's just say the power of power. Yeah? The power of power. You find that of late, now we can't know for sure. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty. So let's just go with the fact that Diddy is innocent. Is he though? We don't know. We saw the videos. We saw the proof. It gets you thinking about the power of power and, again, consequences and accountability, even morality. Because you know what happened? The funniest thing was when Diddy was acquitted of some of these charges, there was Diddy supporters outside of the courtroom smearing themselves with baby oil. If you can believe that. That was them celebrating. Yeah. And what was even more scary is most of them were African Americans, which is, we're already suffering as a race, as black people. Then you have 95 black people in 100 square meters there smearing themselves with baby oil because a man who doesn't know any of them was acquitted for some charges. You get? And I don't know if we're so blinded by the love we have for our celebrities that we fail to see beyond certain things. But that really didn't sit well with me. But that also got me thinking about, does it really pay to be good these days? Does it? And is there room for real accountability? Is there room for consequences? Is there room for, morality in this day and age of ours? Is there? So our conversation today is going to revolve around that. This was heavily inspired by Diddy. This is going to revolve around that. So I just like, our first segment is I just want to find out from you guys, what does being good even mean? Especially, it's very nuanced these days. And I was having a conversation with Sarah and Kia earlier, and we actually found out it's way more nuanced than that, right? There's being good, there is doing good, there's being kind, So what does being good even mean? And especially in today's world, do we focus on moral integrity? Are we focusing on legality, like being good in the sense like I adhere to the laws, I never break laws? When I get a parking ticket, I pay. When police gets me and I've gotten a fine, I pay. Social distancing, do I present myself in a socially acceptable way? So what does being good mean in this day and age? We start from there. Is it on?
I think being good, that is something for me that is part of who you are as a person. You can't wake up and decide to be good if you're not a good person. But you can be a nice person, you know? Those are the people who are saying, oh, I follow the Lord to the T. Oh my God, I cannot this, I cannot that, okay? Being good means even when there is no eyes, who you are. This is Sarah, this is, you get what I'm saying? This is Kia, this is Rowena, this the person you are. Because, we've seen a lot of these stories. You've heard about the stories of the guy who murdered 20 people. He was people say good, but I think the word should be nicest guy. Hi, good morning, because, in the morning you should greet, not because you actually, want to find out how your neighbor is doing. So that is why these days I don't get shocked. You'll hear stories like, oh, he was a good guy. You're like, no. He was not a good guy. He was probably a nice guy, And that is where it comes. We need to appreciate when we find people who are them, like this is who you are. It's not something you learn. So I don't want to use the word good, but okay. In this day and age, people are doing things for the sake of being recognized for doing them. You get what I'm saying?
Let me first stop you there. The fact that you brought out that people are being good for the sake of recognition, as our definition of being good shifted, especially because of, the advent of social media has created a lot of platforms for a lot of exposure. Right? So just two more questions. One, has our definition of being good shifted, especially in the day of social media? Has it changed? And also two, about being good in private versus being good in public, which one counts more?
I think in private, because that means if I am able to be good without the eyes, I can do better in the public eye. Or even without the public eye, it will not be something I will have to adjust myself for, because it's in nature of who I am. You get? I don't think the definition of good has changed. We're just mixing up good, nice, polite, all those things that can still fit in the good. You get? So because there's so many words, we end up, juggling them. But I think the definition of good hasn't changed. It's just that we have shallowed it down to just niceness. You get? That you can't even tell anymore that genuinely someone is happy to see you. You begin to working at the person, you're like, wait. Yeah, there are incidences where people will question someone's goodness because they think it is niceness. Mm-hmm. We can no longer, the line has become so blurred that it is too thin that you can't even tell the difference anymore. So you're having us we are not picking on the good people anymore when we find them, because we are used to niceness. And then we will confuse niceness for good. You see? So our radar has really gone down in that angle. But I think that is where we've reached now, because of I have gone and now, all these philanthropists.
I give a beggar 1,000 shillings, so I'm a good person. Yeah. When
those things started with rich people. Rich people want to be seen.
When you just stole 20 million from a family, and then you gave 1,000 of the 20 million to a beg, and then everyone is going around, oh my God, that guy is the best guy. But like, okay, where did that 1,000 shillings come from? Yeah, but I think we have become, I don't know if I'm being biased or anything, because I've often spoken about it here. Every time social media comes up, we're going to go for the cons. The cons. Social media is making us antisocial. Social media is making us this. But in the sense of being a decent human being, in the sense of being a good person, I think social media is doing more of creating a platform for us to be good in a very shallow way. If someone takes a picture of me giving a bag of flour to a mother who doesn't have food and puts it on social media, I am doing something good, yes, but am I doing it for the right reasons? Right? Am I doing it for the right reason? Someone is saying that is doing something nice. As opposed to, if I'd done it without the camera and everything, would that then be a good thing?
No. Even for some people, why I'm using the example of no cameras is because then that's context. You get it? But what I'm trying to say is that overall, if the intent is good,
Yeah.
you get what I'm saying? That's why you will not even need to have the eyes of the crowd.
The deeds will speak for themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, people will do nice things, but are they good people? Because that's the thing we need to.
Someone wants to answer.
Sorry. On the same note, any human being, even a dog, can learn to be nice. You can teach anyone to be nice, but you cannot teach someone to be a good person. First of all, we all have our demons at some point. Being nice may not cover those demons entirely. At some point, the mask goes off. But being good, it comes from within. It's morals. It's genuinely from inside of you.
Yeah.
So it will cover up your demons. That mask may not go off. But being nice, you get a wild dog and teach it to love human beings. We get wild pets and keep them, domesticate them.
Okay, does it pay to be good? Does it pay to be good? Because here's the thing. Most of us and all of us here have grown up, we are Africans. So we've grown up in a culture where our parents, and our elders will always tell you, whenever you go out there, be a good person. Yeah, do good things, do good deeds. We grow up and we are taught that as we're growing up. It's a huge part of African culture. But the reality of life is very, very different, right? Does it pay to be a good person?
Wonderful question. I feel like this is something I've experienced, and I know a few of you here, at least to a personal level. I'm sure all of us at some point have had to complain to another person about how, let's say, someone is treating us, or, complain like, I did this and this for this person. I was so good to them. Look at how they've paid me. I've had people say, all I've done is good things for this person. Why would they do this and this and this to me? It hurts because all you did came from a very genuine, good position. It really hurts. Like, all of us at some point have complained about people letting us down when we have put in so much. We've been so good to them. And we complain. I'm sure all of us have experienced this at some point, So it really hurts. It breaks you because you've poured in your all genuinely without expecting anything. Being nice, I can be nice to my boss because I want a raise. The rent has to be paid, you know.
You pray your boss is not watching.
No one should share the link.
Because now they know the truth.
Yeah, so we can be nice because we expect something.
Yeah.
And in most cases, honestly, that's it. It's as blunt as it is. You cannot be nice to someone you do not expect to cross paths with or something. Okay, you can't, but no, you can be good if you're genuinely good.
Yeah.
You be good to everyone. But nice is very, very selective. Good is not selective.
So me asking the question, does it pay to be good, is actually me shooting myself in the foot. Because if you're being good, you're not expecting anything in return. If I said, does it pay to be nice, though, I feel like a lot of people would have an answer to that question. Zahra is looking at me and going, I have you.
Okay, well, I think being good hurts because in our modern day, most people, do you know why they change? Someone can be good, genuinely good, and doing the right things for the right cause, but because of the environment we live in, eventually even they can change, because of how people are being selfish due to different reasons. So being good hurts. That's why you should know to what extent should you be doing ABCD. Otherwise, you'll be taken advantage of. I think that's what I think.
As in being good. What I can tell you is like being good is just a culture from your inner. Yeah, you can't come like maybe say I'm good. You do such good things. What? Nothing. Okay. Even if you've got just a little, that's you. You can express something good just from the little you have. But what I can say, me right now, I can't do something like maybe I'm expecting this one to pay me, Zara to pay me, so to pay me everything. But what I know, I know there is God.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. In my inner self, I know there is God.
Yeah.
Even if I find, can I say something off from the COVID season?
Yes, it's okay.
I was coming off from town, just footing. It was around 5:30. Going just up the hill, Wutiki.
After curfew.
Yeah. Or from the round, near the joint medical store.
Yeah.
There was a lady. She was struggling with a super custom to put it in the garage. But what I said, I can't tell her that. Let me help you put it inside. I just told her, let me just instruct her. At least she could do what? Put it inside. And I was instructing her. She was called, I can't recall her name, but what she told me that, no, she didn't tell me where she was from North. But when I tried like maybe telling her that, do this, turn this side, so that she can get into the gate to go into the parking, and she was like, why don't you help me come? Do you know driving? I said, it's okay, no. Why don't you come and help me just put it inside? I just did it once, put it in the parking. I said, you've just quenched off a very big task off from my heart. Because my husband is inside, he's sick, very sick. I'm from buying medic. But one thing, I was struggling with this car. The drivers from the joint medical store were there. They couldn't even help me. But thanks, you've helped me. I said, it's okay. Let me continue with my journey. I continued with the journey. But up on the hill, there were some guys doing some evening jogging what. I was moving. I left her. I moved up. I'm just up from passing from those guys. I had some claps. And the guys told me, Bakuyite Mabega. I said, who? When I looked behind, the same lady was calling me. He said, I'm from buying some medics. I didn't remain with money, but I was coming from town. I had just 5K in my pocket. I have that just because I knew driving, and she told me that the problem after when I'm done with the being good, and she said, this is what I have. She gave me 35K.
And
just 35. Just being good. Being good.
That is when you sing "Storm is over."
But I wasn't doing good to be paid at that time. I just wanted to help the lady. Yeah. And another time, just off from those issues of cars, what me when I find someone, I just help.
So
there is a certain guy I helped, just with the jack and the spare tire. Just off from Mpologoma when you're driving that side of Tirinyi.
Yeah.
He ran off with all those things.
So
you me that
actually
so being good. It's like this. What I can tell you is like this. I just go on being just me. I'm me. Being just nature of me helping. I don't say that I'm done with being good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, now that you've brought up the example of the guy from Mpologoma who ran off with the Jake and the spare tire. I think, but if like you've mentioned, I think being good is something innate. It comes from within you, right? And I think a big part of being a good person is doing the right thing, even when it's inconvenient. Which I can say I've also been victim of that. There are days when I'm like, So, like that guy, River Mpologoma, yeah, he decided to run off with a jack and a spare tire. Yeah.
Trust me, it was night.
It
was night. It was clocking to 1 a.m. It was 1 a.m. in the night. But I decided to park, ask the guy,
Yeah.
man, what's up? He said, man, I'm stuck here, but just I need a jack. I don't have a spare tire. I said, then you need a jack. You don't have a spare tire. What should I do? I'm heading to Soroti. I'm requesting
for a spare tire.
For a spare tire and a jack. When I reach to Soroti in the morning,
I'll give you a call.
And I give you your stuff. Then
yeah,
that's all. I didn't even ask for the money. So that's that.
So has any of you also been in a situation where in being good and doing the right thing, that one act of kindness, that one act of goodness cost you something, and was it worth it? Yeah, was it worth it? Because a big part, especially in our society right now, where it's almost usually every man for themselves, every person for themselves, every woman or man for themselves, is we're all looking to go ahead at the expense of someone else, right? As long as I'm okay, consequences be damned. As long as I'm okay, that family down there be damned. And then there is still a select group of people that, you know what, I am putting into consideration so and so. So I'm not going to do this because it's going to have long-term effects on that, right? But at the end of the day, you're losing something. It's going to cost you something. So have you ever been in a position where you've done something good and it has cost you something, and was it worth it?
Yeah, me too. I have mixed feelings because I think it's a two-sided coin. Whether you do bad, there's a price you have to pay. And whether you're good, there's a price you have to pay for everything. But going back to the original point, does the good deed pay off? I do think it pays off. As he said, the good deed should be without expectation. I think it's the expectation that kills you, where you have done something because you expect a round of applause, you don't get it, you get so mad, you don't get that graffiti, that appreciation you're looking for. So I think that's what causes you to say, okay, I'm being taken for granted. That also happens. Of course, people do take advantage of good people. But I think the good things, the results for good deeds do take longer than the bad ones. And in a generation where we are very impatient, where we're looking for quick gains, it's so easy to abandon the good things. And that's why definitions don't change no matter the generation, but it's just the way of living where we are defining things in a way that benefit us. I know we have all seen that meme of it's only corruption when you're not benefiting.
When you're not benefiting.
When you reach there, you even forget that I was on the street.
Yeah.
You were walking to work at some point. That's how we are so like, even just on the government, everyone is so against the government until they get that government job
opportunity,
the opportunity and keep quiet. So it's a personal thing where I'm a good person. You don't announce it. It should be in your heart. Other people will notice it that this person is a good person.
Let me pause for you guys a moral conundrum before Rowena speaks. Let me pause for you guys a moral conundrum, especially around the topic of corruption, right? We can sit down now here, very, very level-headed, and list from A to Z. I think for every letter of the alphabet, you can find something wrong about corruption, right? From A to Z. Now, let me give you a moral conundrum. You have gotten an opportunity, yeah? Let's say with a certain arm of a certain government entity, right? And this arm gives you exposure to a lot of people that need things accomplished quickly, right? And for them to get those things accomplished quickly, they have to slide you something under the table, right? Now, you're in a position where you could give them the opportunity to go and follow the letter of the law. So put in your proposal, let your proposal go through the right channels until you get approved. Or you have the opportunity to take that, and it's life-changing money. Let's make it life-changing money, because when it's just money for the sake of money, everyone is like, nah, it's not a big deal, I won't do it. They're offering you life-changing money. Every single time someone comes to your desk, they're offering you life-changing money. Remember, innately, you're a good person. What do you do in that situation?
You take the money. First of all, what I don't. Okay, you've not given a specific situation. And let's be honest, we have things to do. Okay, and especially for most of us, really, some of these things are not a matter of life and death. Yeah. It is. Here and it's okay. The issue is, like you said, when you're not there, it's very easy to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you get there and realize, okay, this is not a matter of life or death.
Yeah.
It is, as long as I am not in some weird, sticky situation I cannot explain. As long as I'm not in some weird, about to first do what, I will take. Because guess what? They're just. In journalism, we used to call it transport refund.
Facilitation. Yeah.
Yes, others would really make it transport refund because on their budget from their companies, they put transport refund.
My former boss hated that term facilitation so much. Like, no, it sounds corrupt. I'm like, well.
But you get what I'm saying, yeah? So at the end of the day, if someone is, it's more like a tip. So are we calling a tip? Like there are countries where a tip is mandatory.
Yeah.
Yeah? Yes, but not everyone though is going to be great. But because you have to tip, you tip. In fact, the tip comes on your bill. You get what I'm saying?
10%.
So I think, in all honesty, life is hard. We are all dealing with things. We all want a car here or there, an opportunity when you get it. If someone is tipping me
for a job
to
almost
do my
well
job
done,
that I am doing, it's okay.
so that it doesn't count as corruption there.
Good evening, guys.
Hi.
My name is Aloysius. This is my first time here.
What's up, Aloy?
Yes. Not here in the bar, but at the podcast. It's my first time. And I've been here thinking, am I a good person? Am I a bad person? Now, to the girl who called me expecting transport, and I didn't send, I'm a bad person. Then, to the person I just found on the street and didn't have transport, and I gave them transport.
You're a good person.
I'm a good person. So to sum it all, I don't think there is a bad person and a good person. I think it's just situations.
Yeah.
Because even if you're a good person, you're not going to be a good person for long. There's a time that's going to come
where you need,
and then you become a bad person. Yes. I had a friend who had lost a father, and the father was this guy who was not in that friend's life. He even didn't want to go to bury because he thought this is the baddest person on earth.
Yeah.
So we forced him and we say, the guy has gone. Let's just be there for 2-3 hours and then you're done with it. Otherwise, you're going to regret. So he agrees. We reach there. We find one of the big people on Ugandan TV crying her heart out, saying if it wasn't this person, she wouldn't have ever made it in life. And saying that this person who had died is the greatest person ever to live. Now, the son on the other end was saying he's the baddest person to ever live. Now, the other person is saying this is the best person I've ever met.
Yeah.
So, the goodness and the badness of someone come in situations. Those situations, let me tell you, they are going to send you that transport money. You're not going to tell him I'm not coming. And you'll eat that money. So, to that man is going to announce you, to publicize you
as a bad person.
Not good.
Yeah.
And then we find you in a bar buying for us beers on that transport money.
And you are the best person.
We are praising you, the best person. So it's all up to us. Then lastly, What I'm thinking, also in our good moments, we are always selfish. You are good for selfish reasons. I'm going to tell you this. Even God is good for selfish reasons.
Akubyewo.
God is good because he wants us to praise him alone. Even says it. Now, you're going to do something good, not expecting money, but there's something you're expecting. Maybe self-gratification. You're going to tap yourself on the shoulder and say,
I did a good
I did
thing.
something good. Now, that is something you're expecting. We always have something we are expecting. You had your issue of the camera when you're giving out in camera. I might give you in camera, but if you're out of camera, I'm going to give you 10K because that's what I can afford. But if I put a camera on you, someone is going to see me and bring 100K to you. So sometimes even the camera is good when giving. Sometimes it's not good. So it's subjective on where you're standing. It's a 9, it's a 6, depending on the situation. Thank you.
Hey, philosophy.
According to me, I think being good is actually personality. It's your personality, you as you, the way you tend to, your perspective about something. To the extent that, just like he said, there will be a specific situation just because because of your reasons, you think, no, it should be done this way and not the other way. You'll do it your way, and of which someone else might have a different perception of how you should do it. So obviously they're going to conclude, oh no, he's bad, just because you have not done it the way they should have. And if you do something that they think you should have done that way, they will take you for a good person. So generally, I think he was right, actually.
Yeah. So from his point, actually, I've always I like to give people examples. There is certain people that universally are portrayed as villains, right? I love two examples because they make the most sense to me, especially in the sense of how he has put it about being good, being subjective. Al Capone and Pablo Escobar, right? Al Capone was a very famous American gangster. Al Capone was responsible for the Valentine's Day massacre, and I've forgotten which year. But on some random day on the 14th of February, his gang drove into, I think it was someplace in New York, and they were trying to take out a rival gang, but took out a lot of other people, right? So, publicly speaking, Al Capone, the public eye, terrible person. He killed a lot of people, right? But if you talk to the people of, I think it's the Bronx, someone will help me verify that. I think it's the Bronx or like New Jersey, somewhere like that, where he used to, give food. He used to give soup. He used to give clothes. When you look at people like that, when you talk about those people, they will swear by Al Capone's name. So Al Capone gave me food when I didn't have food. He gave me a sweater when I didn't have a sweater. So for them, Al Capone was good. Same thing with Pablo Escobar. One of Pablo Escobar's most popular worst deeds was when he blew up a passenger airplane because there was a judge on the plane that was indicting him on a drug trafficking case, right? To take out the judge, he took out the whole plane. There was a mother with a child on that plane, all that. He took out the entire plane. Pablo Escobar was vilified. But if you talk to some of the people from Medellin, where his cartel started, Medellin, a town in Colombia, they'll tell you Escobar built schools. Escobar gave people jobs. Escobar started a taxi service that gave me money. Escobar did that. And so, when you present it in a way like that, where he comes from makes sense. That sometimes, yes, being good, of course, is an innate thing, and you can actually be a good person. But I think sometimes being perceived and portrayed as a good person is going to depend on the person that is either experiencing what you have done or seeing what you have done, right? Yes. Yeah.
However, you don't put other people in the thing. So that's why he became a bad guy, because guess what? The problem was the judge. The rest of us were all trying to leave. Leave us alone.
Yeah. Now the rest, you see, the people who lost people on that plane. Yeah, the people who lost people on that plane are going to say Pablo Escobar was a terrible human being, right?
Yes.
The people who Pablo Escobar gave jobs in Medellin, who Pablo Escobar took to school in Medellin, will still swear by Pablo Escobar regardless of the things that he has done.
Here's the thing. that's where we said that what's the intent? You see, that's why I will keep insisting there is good and there is nice. Was he cleaning his money? Was he probably because of a certain reason? You know, sometimes we do things because of reasons. If, for example, he talked about his friends when they went for the funeral, and someone said, if it was not for this man, I would not be here. Now you find that that person may not necessarily be good, but they will swear to their life that for as long as they live, they'll find a way of repaying back that person. You know, so while we talk about good, nice, or bad, remember those things are not standing alone on their own.
What you're saying is that
there's a lot of factors that are going to come in and do what, and I still insist and say, however, a good person is a good person.
I think the question is, what is morally accepted? You know, now, before we come to who has done what, for what, and when, what, as a community, what are we expecting? What do we expect out of you? What is accepted? Is killing accepted? No. Then we don't want to know why you did it, because it is not accepted, you know. So that comes to you, is stealing accepted? I will not steal because I'm hungry. I can go and ask for something to eat than stealing. So if something is accepted, and that's what makes you good, if you do something in context whereby everyone will align with it and they accept, they okay with it, then you don't need to give reasons. If you start giving reasons, then you have your intentions as a person.
Thank you, Zahara. I remember when I was in my primary, I think it was standard 3. I was in Nairobi. There's a story we read about the man, the son, and the donkey. They were going on a journey, and they started with the man on top of the donkey because he's the eldest. The boy was walking. They found the first person. The first person talked to the guy, "You are merciless. You are old enough. How can you let a little child walk while you're sitting?" So the guy said, "This guy must be right." He got off, put the boy on the donkey. They moved. They found some elder person who wanted to beat the child. How do you disrespect an elder? You're sitting, he's walking. Then they both went down. They walked with the donkey. They met another person. He laughed at them. "Look at these fools. They have a donkey, but they are moving with it." So also in this case, I think it's like that. If you read about this, the movie of Robin Hood.
Yeah, by the way,
Robin Hood could steal from the government
and give to the poor.
Was he good? Was he bad?
Because why? Because as Zahara said, the moment you start giving reasons, the intent is lost, right? So Robin Hood was stealing,
yes,
which is a bad thing, but he was giving what he
intent,
stole to
his
the poor.
intent of stealing was good. And then what culture deems moral is also a subject to discussion. What you think is normal is not normal to us, to another person, another community. For example, if you find a white girl where they come from, it's good for them to wear bikinis while moving around. If you come to Ginger here and my friend Sarah wears a bikini, she's not morally good. So also the morals.
This will be a whole story.
Usually, my question is, who defines those marks? Who defines what is moral and what is immoral? Who defines what is good
and what is
not
bad?
If I come here and I take 10 beers, am I a drunkard? Am I just a person enjoying myself? Then who says it should be 3 bottles? Because the person defining, they have their own limits. And the person not doing that, they also have their limits.
Okay, so let's take this back. It's good we're on that topic. Yeah. We all pretend, okay, not pretend, but we tend to neglect the fact that power and authority play a big role in defining what is good and what is not. You get that? Notice that with Robin Hood stealing, of course, the government runs propaganda. So if the government says that Robin Hood is bad, it doesn't matter who else sees what Robin Hood is doing. General consensus is going to be that Robin Hood is bad, right? general consensus is going to be that Robin Hood is bad because the people with the power say that Robin Hood is bad. Somewhere that the people with power can say, if you drink 10 beers, you're a drunkard, but if you drink 3, you're okay. So does authority, does power play a role in defining what is moral, what is immoral, what is good, what is bad?
I think I'm going to talk then because someone is calling me away, and I loved this discussion. You can argue the day out. I'm going to give you another example, and I'm hoping this one doesn't land you in problems. In the early 1980s, we had a government around, and we had some people, after losing the election, they went to the bush. When these guys went to the bush, they mixed with the locals. History says, it's not me saying, or the podcast, but history says that these people would come and massacre people wearing government uniforms, and they pretend it's the government, and then they would go back to the people. And because now history, when what was there happened and everything happened, they became the victors. Now, we call them the freedom fighters, the people who got our country from a mess. So, it's all to the question. Now, because the power is now within their means, do we qualify what they did in the beginning as good because they became out as victors? So that is also another big question. But about power in our everyday circles. Power is everything. Let me tell you, I had a certain job, and when I had this job, this office, I could freely hang out with any girl of any status. When I left this job, I couldn't talk to these girls. They were talking to the person who succeeded me. Yeah? You see, sometimes power is what people want, and they don't want you as a person. They want the power. And the moment you lose that power, that's when you're gone. Yeah, you're also Pogba, yes. The wife left. Sorry.
So sorry. By the way, congratulations to Pogba and Monaco. The man is back.
She has reminded me something very, very good. About nobody is talking about Thomas Partey.
Oh yeah,
Thomas Partey.
Charged
the day they cancelled his contract at Arsenal, the day he had 5 counts of rape.
And 1 count of sexual assault.
Because he had lost this power of being in Arsenal, of being a midfielder in Arsenal. When he lost that, then the cases resurfaced. What were they doing all along? So,
yeah, but power, and playing a role in the definition of morality, immorality, good and bad is that?
Yeah, today surprisingly, I was talking to Moro about the same thing. Power. It always comes back to power. You see. That's why we said, if I'm not the one benefiting, it means I don't have control. It means I'm going to find a problem with the situation. It means. However, if I am in control, it means I've got power. It means I am okay with the situation at hand. Now, of course, let's say it's power. And it's on an even individual level. Yes? When you feel like you have control, then things are good. That is why when we talk about the morals and standards of society, we are the ones who are setting them so that someone can reach your bar. If they can't reach you, you're the greatest. Because who came up with these things? That this is what high-end, this is what the first-class society does. So we are all working towards behaving like first-class society.
Okay, so what's the bar in terms of power? What's the bar for being good?
The bar, I think for me, let's be honest, I think for me at the end of the day is, are you human enough? Are you a human being? Because you cannot just be there like a robot.
AI.
Yeah, AI. Are you human enough? Because as a human being, you should not be reminded.
To be good.
You should not be reminded that you shouldn't steal from your neighbor, you shouldn't kill. You shouldn't be reminded about the basics of what it is to be a human being. You don't have to be taught. Because even you don't want to be stolen from. But you want
to
get what
steal.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even you fear, you walk, you like, guy, your safety, you want your life. So what makes you think you can take another? So the basics of humanity, the feeling, and we keep running away from feelings. That is why the society is going mad. Because the reality is we feel things, otherwise you're not a human being. Actually, no. Otherwise, you're not a living thing. I'm sorry. Because you see, even animals will express themselves when they're unhappy, when they're angry, when they're, when they're happy. Who are we? I mean, you don't need a book to remind you to be a human being. And that's what I keep telling people. Are you trying to tell me that our people were killing themselves because, yes, because before a book came or something of that nature, before a constitution was written, I think we've always had order. For me, that is the baseline for goodness, being a human being. You can't be reminded, Roy, that if you come and take my beer without my
Your consent.
it is a bad thing. Imagine I came and took yours.
When you pulled away the beer, why did you first look around? You see? I was wondering.
Okay, this is a very long discussion, but I wanted to.
It's about to end.
Okay, no, like we can't end it because it's a very wide topic. But we have discussed morals here before, and Olivia led us through it, and we came to a conclusion that morals, people still choose what works for them. But I think we have all had definition of, not the definition, that statement of the devil doesn't bargain.
You mean the song by Alec Benjamin?
It's not a song, it's really a phrase that is used in so many things of the devil doesn't bargain.
Okay.
Meaning, like, we make choices and we should be able to deal with the consequence, pay the price. You have to pay a price for every decision you make. And for bad decisions, it's not a fair deal. It's not really a fair deal as much as it pays off in the eyes of other people. You, as the person, you're going to deal with the consequences. There's an example he gave about even God doing selfish deeds. I kindly disagree with you. I don't think that's what it means. That's why even people who don't worship him still receive whatever he did. It's for everyone. It's for everyone. That's why good things should be your personal deed. You're giving birth to a child, and then even when this child does whatever, you still give them the good things to it because you are meant to be a good father, a good parent to that child.
Zahara is dying.
I think now, if it comes to you, if you're doing something, are you feeling guilty about it? Now, when you're doing something with... Oh, no, not everyone does, honestly. Yes, before you do anything. Yes. And that's when you draw the line, like, hey, even if I am doing the wrong thing, but for due to these reasons, let me do it. So, guilt conscience has an accuser. No one will come to you and tell you that you've done wrong. It comes from within. That's when you know that my morals, I've set them aside and now I have to go this way.
All right.
So,
first complete. That was a very interesting point. But aside from everything, because what we've realized from the discussion today is it's nuanced. It's very nuanced. It's based on perspective. It's based on who you are as a person. It's based on what you expect or are not expecting. It's based on culture. But the whole guiding question was, does it pay to be a good person? Is that a yes or a no? Is that a yes or a no?
It is a yes.
A yes. Zahara says yes. Pacho?
Thank you so much. I believe it is a 50-50.
50-50,
Because I, for one, would say for every reaction,
there is an equal and opposite reaction.
there is an action somewhere.
Newton's third law of motion. Does it pay to be a good person? Yes or no?
It depends on what you're doing and what you're doing for.
Okay, Sarah. Does it pay to be a good person? Yes or no?
It pays to be a good person.
Kia, does it pay to be a good person? Yes or no?
It does pay.
Rowena, does it pay to be a good person? Yes or no? You see your face.
It does, but also.
but also.
The truth is, it does,
Uh-huh.
but
Uh-huh.
sometimes it doesn't.
All right.
Because we are living in a society of different people from different backgrounds, different beliefs, different, like you said, everyone has the way they look at things.
Uh-huh.
So yes, overall, it will pay off, but sometimes.
Josh, does it pay off to be a good person?
Being a good person, sometimes it pays,
Uh-huh.
and also being a bad person also pays.
Olivia is right behind there. Olivia, does it or does it not pay to be a good person?
I want to say it 100% pays.
That is
Why?
Uh-huh.
Why? I want to, because sometimes we are confused by saying you do something for someone expecting something, you know? But if I have done something good to a person, I just want to leave it at that.
Yeah.
Whether they get it back, of course I'll get hurt, but I will not regret the fact that I did something good, and that should be 100%,
All right.
and I'll be rewarded.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, like, does it pay to be a good person in your opinion, my brother?
Yeah, it pays.
It pays. Yeah. Very simple. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very wide topic. I think we've seen that it's not black and white. I think morally speaking and realistically speaking, we all perceive this as you can either be good or bad. We've seen from our discussion today, it can depend on circumstance, it can depend on culture, it can depend on, expectation. So I think there was a tweet that I read that says we are all selective sinners. We just pick the sins that work for us, right? And I think that's also what it applies to being good. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here with us tonight. We are going to continue. We're humble sinners. We're going to continue this discussion. We're going to continue this discussion in a session we call After the Talk Track, where when a topic is as interesting as this, we do it off the camera, but we shall leave the mic on. You just won't be recorded. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here with us tonight. As usual, the Talk Track is an independent production of the Courage Junkies, produced, edited, sound mixed, and shot by Morris, aka Moro Mukono Moja. Very hardworking young man. You'll see him one day on the podcast. Off the camera, yes. My name is Roy. I've been the host for the evening. Check us out on our YouTube channel at TalkTrack UG. And have a lovely week and peace out. We shall continue this another time. Thank you so much.
Question off camera.